2-Ton Nerds. As always, my name is Max James, and this is Let's Watch True Blood, a series retrospective in which I'll be watching and discussing all 70 episodes of this series. And in this video, I'll be talking about the episode Sparks Fly Out. This episode started out just exactly where the last one left off, and kind of start to sense a little theme here, where Sookie and Bill finally get home after the raid at Fantasia, and as well as the little incident on the road with the highway cop. And Sookie is still quite upset about that, and because she's like, what would you have done if I wasn't here? And it's like, would you would have fed on him? And he didn't say anything, so it was like he would have. And she's like, I don't like that. So they kind of go their separate ways. And right before the end credits roll, that dog, if you are watching these episodes, you will notice that there's a dog that keeps kind of showing up at these weird times. And that particular, I think it's a collie, it's sitting in the bushes watching, and that's where the red credits roll. And then it comes back, and it's bright and sunny, and you see Gran, she's talking on the phone, getting ready for the big event of the video of this episode, is the Descendants of the Glorious Dead, a special meeting where Bill will be talking about his life, because he's actually got to live through the Civil War, and that's what the Descendants of the Glorious Dead is, just trying to reminisce and try to get stories about, or celebrating that time period. And Bill has lived through that time period, so he's graciously he will talk in front of this large crowd, and that's where this big episode is centered around, because Jason and Lafayette, their big story arc for the episode is, Lafayette is wanting Jason to try V again, but under more controlled circumstances. And he actually does it well this time, so Jason spends the entire episode high, and it's quite funny because he's just kind of like, he's seen the world for the first time, and it's quite funny, and it's actually really good. And he's feeling Tara's arm, and he's like confessing his love to Tara in a way, and Tara's like, alright, but Tara's kind of falls into it and reveals that Jason is still Jason Stackhouse after seeing what he's been doing behind the bar of Malot's. It's quite funny. And also, you also get a couple, vampire myths get debunked. Like, they can take pictures, and they can stand in a church, and you can see them in a mirror, and a cross does not hurt them. But you can tell something does bother him a little bit, because during the speech at the Descendants of the Glorious Dead, these three redneck wanks, they get out a garlic pressure, and they just kind of like, and you can see like the garlic kind of come out, and you can definitely tell it kind of irritated Bill just for a second, because he kind of does this little thing with his nose. You can tell, and he kind of sniffs like, and you can tell garlic may not be exactly what it is in the movies, but it does kind of like, it may affect him in small portions. And also the story arc for Sam for this episode, that he asked Sookie out for the Descendants of the Glorious Dead meeting, and they go out after for coffee, and Sam kind of gets a little too fresh and pushes her up against the car and starts kissing her, and Sookie just didn't like that. I forgot what she says, but it didn't quite go out as planned as in Sookie's head than in Sam's head. So they go their separate ways, and they kind of get into it. And who else's story arc? Oh, we got Lafayette's story arc, and it's actually pretty cool for this one. You see another side of Lafayette. Lafayette, he's kind of flamboyant, and he's gay, but there's a moment in the bar where the same three rednecks who did the little garlic thing at the little meeting, they make a few choice words and said like he's shorter because Lafayette is the cook of the Merlot's bar, and so they send this hamburger back because it has AIDS. And Lafayette didn't take too kindly to that, and he took off his earrings, and that's when, and he's like, oh crap, something's going to have to go down. So he goes out there carrying his plate, and he's like, hey, what'd you order? I mean, it started out pretty nice, and all of a sudden, and just like Lafayette went through another level, and it was pretty. I mean, it's nice to see Lafayette kind of like stick up. I'm not trying to say he can't stick up for himself. I'm just like not embracing the stereotype, and that's what's amazing about it. And then you got, I'm trying to think what else the other story arc. Oh, we also learn a bunch about Bill. You learn how he got turned into a vampire. You see some little flashbacks of him on the battlefield of the Civil War, and it's all pretty cool. I mean, you actually get to see Bill in kind of normal skin tone, rather being like the vampire white. And then you actually get to see like how he accidentally stumbled upon this house, and he got turned into a vampire. And it was actually pretty cool. And then we also learned that a vampire could have not have committed these murders that's been going on between Dawn and Maudette, because all the blood is still within the body. And then that's where the episode is starting to wind down, and it ends on a big note. I mean, a very big note. Sookie finally comes home from her date. Sookie finally comes home from her date with Sam, and didn't go well, and it's not going to end well for her right now, because she walks home, and there's just blood all over the floor. Someone has killed their grandmother, and their Adele Stackhouse is laying on the floor, dead, covered in blood, and it just ends with Sookie just speechless. And this is a very good episode. It's one of my personal favorites because it's more revealing, and you see another side of these characters all the way around. And I just like this episode when they're just kind of talking and showing, like, I just like this kind of stuff in this episode. If you see it, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just debunking myths, and I just like the whole atmosphere of this episode. So, what is there else to say? There's really nothing else to say. My name is Max James, and I'm going to go geek out.